In this episode of the Hospo Dojo podcast, I chat with Claire Stenhouse, restaurant manager at Melbourne's iconic Attica. Originally from Scotland, Claire has built a global hospitality career across 7 different countries. With experience alongside Gordon Ramsay and Jason Atherton, she's all about people and strategy. We talk career moves, team culture, and what it takes to run one of Australia's top restaurants. This episode is proudly brought to you by Food and Hospitality Week, a major event in Australia's hospitality calendar connecting 15,000 chefs, owners and industry professionals every year. Claire Stenhouse, the restaurant manager at Attica in Melbourne, an institution.
Absolutely.
Not just in Melbourne, in Australia.
They're celebrating 20 years this year.
That's amazing.
That's incredible. 20 years as an independently owned restaurant.
But, you know, not just for Attica's been as an independently owned restaurant. Yourself, Claire, you've been, you know...
Pretty independent.
Yeah, very independent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay,
Yeah.
Jason Atherton,
Yeah.
Mario Carbone,
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah, I'm racking them up, collecting chefs.
right? And then you did an operations director role in Hong Kong.
I did, yeah. I was there for 3 years for the spiciest time for the protests going into COVID. And I had 2 different operations manager and operation director roles.
But now you're settled.
Yeah.
Do you feel settled?
Definitely, yes. I'm not going anywhere if
Yeah.
I can help it, if the PR
Yes.
comes through.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. This podcast is going to make sure that
Yeah.
you're going to stay there.
Big words.
Attica, we love you.
Yeah.
Claire loves you, and Melbourne loves you as well.
Yeah, Attica is a fantastic place to work. There's a lot in different cultures that I've learned all over the world, but I think it's definitely the most comfortable,
Yeah,
while also putting me under the right kind of pressure, you know. I'm very lucky.
that's phenomenal. Claire, you and I have a lot in common,
Oh, yeah?
more than you think.
Other
I
than
love
Hendrix and Tonic?
I love efficiency
Yes.
more than anything. If anything, if you look at my Instagram page, it's all about making commercial kitchens hyper efficient, like to the micro minute. Like I dial in to any process possible, and we try to alleviate stress. We strive for employers to give their employees a less stressful workplace, make sure they're comfortable, make sure they can perform. For us, when we look at designing kitchens, we think of it as if, you know, an artist is on his canvas, and if he doesn't have his tools around him, it's not going to work.
Well, you've just got a very frustrated artist.
100%. And I don't think you want the customers don't want to be frustrated either, right?
No, exactly. That goes into the food.
Exactly. So you want the environment to be as perfect as possible where possible.
Yeah.
But of course, there are challenges all the time, and that's what we're going to dial in today on how you overcome those challenges in these ever-changing workplaces, especially going, you know, through different continents.
Yeah. The different international cultures has been humbling in my learning,
That's
for sure.
a great way to put it.
Indeed.
Humbling is an amazing word. So your career has taken you to 9 countries and given you the chance to work with the most renowned people in the industry. What lessons from those experiences have shaped who you are today and how you approach your role at Attica?
I think in one word is integrity, and that's from my own mistakes of saying I'll do something and then not being able to do it because actually I didn't realize that no one had shown me how. And now that I have been shown how, or I've sought out the ways of doing things, I'm now looking at the younger generation to make sure that they're being told how. This is sort of a theme that I just keep coming back to, is this sort of granular definition of what it is that you do. For example, you just spoke to me about how you love efficiency, but can you define efficiency? How many tangents does efficiency have? You know, you've got the efficiency of the systems and the processes, but they are useless if the clarity of those processes is non-existent, or if the understanding of those processes is not retained in the people that you're bringing on. You see what I mean? So people have a lot of talk, but not a lot of foundation. And I I'm one of them in my younger years. I remember being really staunch in Gordon Ramsay, and one of the best pieces of advice I ever got when I became general manager of the York and Albany, which was his hotel up in Camden, was one of my operations directors being like, yeah, you're passionate, great, but you gotta know what you're talking about. And just that sentence is so simple, but it's very true. Get granular on the words you're talking about. This is one lesson that I've definitely
held on to.
I'm living, trying to anyway.
How did you, navigate your way into hospitality?
Yeah, well, my first role was actually when I was 13 years old, highly illegal, yeah, in rural Scotland as a chef in Scottish Italian, like gelateria, but they would do like 50s diner style. So it was just me in the kitchen flipping burgers at the age of 13 for £1.80 an hour. And then from there, I loved the pressure. I loved feeling grown up. I loved meeting different people. I loved the social aspect of it, because when you're that age, you don't know anything else. Your whole life is just the social aspect of things. And it just went from one opportunity to the next. I only knew one thing about myself, which was that I wanted to travel the world, the whole world. And, well, everybody eats, so did that.
That's it. That's exactly, that's a true fact. And then you just then progressed your career. Did you further any studies or anything like that?
I did, yeah. I studied a lot of random things. I'm definitely one of these people that, especially when I was younger, saw a shiny thing, got really interested in it, wanted more. And so, like, for example, I had a commercial helicopter license in London for a small period of time. Just couldn't help myself, just threw money at it. Then I studied radio broadcasting, actually, in Scotland. And I worked in the radios in hospitals, and I loved that. Then when I left Hong Kong...
Radios in hospitals? What were you doing in the hospitals?
Yeah, before screens and things, they had radio stations in hospitals to keep people company. And you would go around the wards and you would take requests for songs or whatever, and I designed entire programs for the patients in hospitals. To keep them
that's
company.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
wow.
It's really sweet. I've got some gorgeous stories about that. I'll tell you later. But in Hong Kong, it was probably one of my most stressful
tenors
work experiences. Yeah, for sure. The cultures that I went through there, multiple, were both toxic, shaping, rewarding. They were everything. Not to mention the fact that we were going through COVID, and they had some social unrest.
Well, yeah, the social unrest adds the flair.
Yeah.
But Hong Kong, I look at Hong Kong, I look at places like Singapore, I look at places like Dubai. There's so much action that's happening on the ground. Like, everyone is like chipping away to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's pulling strings left, right, and center.
Everybody wants to be seen.
Exactly.
So no one gets seen.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a big push. And it's Hong Kong. The city doesn't sleep.
No,
if you've
it
never
doesn't.
If you've never been to Hong Kong, like I've been to Hong Kong, and I love going around Hong Kong, but it'd be so hard to work in.
Yeah. It was the restaurant city of the world when I joined it. So I was so excited. I was working in Switzerland at the time, and I met Black Sheep Restaurant's owner, and I just fell in love with them in the interview. But then when I started working there, it was difficult. It was a stressful time for them, which meant it was a stressful time for everyone. But anyway, Hong Kong came to an end. Sadly, I lost my father during COVID, not because of COVID. He missed all that drama. But it definitely changed my perspective, and I wanted to go home and be with the family that I had left. So in 2021, I left my job as the director of Leading Nation, which was the next job that I got in Hong Kong. Gave 6 months' notice. Then I went...
And that's quite normal for
Hong Kong, yeah.
But even for like a high-ranking professional in your realm, like there's a lot to lose for the organisation.
There is.
And for me, I find that quite respectful that you did that.
Yeah, well, I was asked for 4, and I gave 6 because I wanted to replace myself.
And that's the best way. And I think any professional that's listening to this right now, there's one thing to hold your integrity and not allowing anyone to say anything after you've left is because you've actually given the organisation that gave you so much the ability to continue to foster and grow.
I couldn't agree more.
Right? Even though you might go through hardships, there are some times in life. Chef Brahim from Nori in Singapore, he told me he shared with me a story about his grandfather, and when he was working at the Fat Duck, he wanted to leave so bad, and his grandfather said, "You can leave, but then the next place you're going to go to, you're also going to leave."
Yeah.
He goes, "So you need to get to the root of the problem and find out why you want to leave."
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Right? He goes, "You can still leave, but find the root of the problem why you want to leave."
Yeah.
He ended up staying there an extra 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But then he left. But then when he left with integrity. He left with empowerment
And legacy.
and legacy, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, everyone holds your name, you know, so well respected in the industry.
Yeah.
It's an honor for us to have you even sitting next to us. Thank you here for having you here. But that's the truth. And when I see someone that does that, I really appreciate that, because as a business owner myself, when someone gives you that ability and that comfort and saying, "Look, I appreciate everything. It's not right for me right now, but I want to take that next step in my journey, but I'm going to make sure everything's okay for you."
Yeah.
You know, and call me if you need me. We're there.
Again, it's down to that integrity of knowing what you're talking about, though, right? Like hospitality has people coming and going and coming and going. It's swinging doors.
It's such a transient.
For young kids that don't know themselves, so they can't know the root of the problem, because the root of the problem is still growing a lot of the time, right? But be clear on that, I think. If somebody's like, "This is not for me right now," that's totally fine. This is what you're, expected to provide so that the rest of the team don't suffer from your leaving. Leave properly. You're only remembered how you left.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
But yeah, to answer your question about studies, I went back to London and I studied organisational psychology.
Wow. So with that, how long have you been at Attica now?
So I got there in September 2023.
Okay. And can you share one operational strategy that's helped Attica stay efficient without compromising on that experience?
Yeah. Let's think. I think I'll go for maybe micro training. So micro training is something that I've kind of introduced in a few different areas. But so we already had wine training, which was at 2:00 on a Thursday, and we had a wine academy, which is every single first Monday of the month. What I did was that I chose different areas of what we needed to learn and did half-hour slots every single day. So Tasty Tuesdays would be for food, and Thirsty Thursdays or something like that. It wasn't particularly in Attica, but we did a pub quiz style, like trivia style quiz on
Amazing.
Saturdays just before service. And initially I did it just to get them comfortable with the sort of group environment, because when I first got there, they wouldn't even put their hand up to say anything. They were so shy. I warmed them up. And then and now we did like rotations. So they write the quiz for their colleagues, and then every 4 weeks I give a prize.
Yeah, teacher. It works.
The best way to learn sometimes is by teaching.
That's amazing.
And they got so fun, they got so into it. They're all like a lot more connected to each other now. You're allowed to fail. The relationship to help needed to be changed there. So what I mean by that is that if you receive help and you're judging that person, thinking, well, this person obviously needs me. He's a failure because he needs help. If you're judging even subconsciously in that way, then you also think that when you're receiving help, Yeah, so you think that about yourself when you're receiving help. And then that's where blame and shame and judgment comes along. And so just breaking down that ego by leading by example, just being, well, I'm not afraid to say that I don't know what this is, but we have a job to do. We have a job to do it together. So
yeah, I guess I can relate to that quite a lot, even now as a professional and, delivering for clients constantly. When a client asks me a question or wants me to do something, and, it's something that I could potentially do if I knew how to do it. In my old years, I'd say, yeah, no problem.
And you figure it out?
I'd try to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then I'd fail miserably. And I'd learn along the way, and then I'd probably hurt the client in the process. But now it's just like, hey, man, I actually don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I really don't. But why don't I call one of my buddies who might, and we can learn it together.
Yeah, I mean, that's integrity as well. We don't do things if we don't do them properly.
Right?
Right.
1,000%. So that for me is, I can see that, and I love the teacher style as well. The reason why we do these podcasts is not only to share your voice and give, people like yourself a platform to be able to, share your experiences and share your knowledge, but it also teaches me so much. You know, I get to sit in a room with you. I get to pick your brain. I get to really hone all that in. And for me to then be able to go, okay, well, actually, Claire does it this way. Like the story I told you about Yvonne.
Yeah.
Right? That's the stuff that then now sits in my subconscious. So then when I'm in a conversation, I'll be like, hey, no, I can pull from Claire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You know, and
Adaptability.
that adaptability and, proof of concept that it's actually worked. We can try that, you know? That's amazing. So, you're at Food and Hospitality Week in Melbourne.
I am.
You're in this fantastic bus. How's it feel?
Very cool bus.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel cooler than my status.
You've traveled all over the world. We tried to bring a replicated experience of what it could be like in our studio.
Oh, that's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And we just wanted to, the exhibition hall has got, fantastic activations around. There's so much going on. There's so much buzz, but we need to be able to, silence ourselves and talk in this space. Have we achieved that?
Absolutely. It's like our own little pod.
That's it.
I love it. I haven't actually walked around the place yet. I just beelined
straight here.
Like girly
Did
run.
you see it?
It was the first thing I saw.
The first thing you saw?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, okay, great. So what brings you here this year?
I was asked to come. It's quite simple. I'm very interested in doing things like public speaking and networking and getting to know the Australian economy of hospitality, because it's very different in every country.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love the sort of youthful enthusiasm that the hospitality industry has here. There's so much opportunity for creativity and independent growth. I love that. And so I kind of want to know what's going on. I have a little side hustle type thing that I do where I go and do workshops for other businesses that can be like transferable skills from the very human soft skills that you get in hospitality. And with my organizational psychology, I've got frameworks to then translate that into other areas. So next month I'm doing one for the Red Cross, for example.
Amazing.
I did one for Sprecht, the coffee machine.
When are you coming to Sydney?
Anytime you like, man.
Whenever you fly to Sydney, let us know. We'll get you in for a workshop.
I will. Cool.
We'd love to have you in a workshop. We'll film it.
Yeah.
How about we do that?
That'd
You
be
can
good
do
fun.
a workshop for us.
That'd be good fun. I'll give you my website.
Yeah.
You can choose which one you
Yeah,
want.
100%. We'll film it for you.
That sounds fun.
And then we can spread that as a collab workshop.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Anything you need.
Amazing. Well, let's do that. And just to wrap up for today, what's one thing you think people in the industry need to know better when it comes to retaining great people?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a theme of this workshop, and we need to sort of shift from managing bodies on a roster to managing the individual humans with limits and ambitions and different goals, and just be very clear about the humans that we have in front of us. This industry is, for some people, their first experience as an adult, like newly minted adults. And we as leaders are going to shape the rest of their career, even if it's not in hospitality. That's weight. Let's talk about that weight. That's a big weight to bear. Do it properly, right? Deal with human beings. Andrew Carnegie used to say, you take care of the pennies, the pound will take care of themselves. It's very true.
And how do you, at a business level, manage those, micro nuances of different humans continuously? Because you can't talk to one person the same you talk to another, right?
Absolutely not.
And that's what we found in this day and age.
You also can't jeopardize who you are. You can't change who you are to fit.
Right.
Not like you can, but to a point. You want to hold on true to what your moral compass is saying and what your business ethics are and so on. So how do you do that? Honestly, listening. People don't listen as much as they think that they do. Treating people like human beings and using time as a commodity. That's the commodity that you have as a leader. You have time to give to the people that are working for you, and they have time to work for you, right? They give their time if you give yours. So what I mean by that is that I have a door, like an open door policy all the time. If anybody wants to come and talk to me, and they do, tears, laughter, whatever, they come in and they have chats with me. I do 4 yearly performance reviews. 2 of them are formal and based on development, and 2 of them are less formal and based on psychological safety within the workplace and the culture. And then every other time, it's just, I'm here if you need me. I align their degrees or their ambition and their wants and needs outside of life into what they're doing day by day. That's why no one's leaving.
That's amazing. So you've got this framework that you've built that you utilize. Now, as a leader in such a demanding role, especially now with you wanting to do more of these workshops, what's a strategy that you utilize to best manage your time so that you're available for these people?
Well, Attica does that for me. That's why it's such a wonderful thing to work at Attica. And I'm going nowhere for as long as I can because it's such a wonderful place to work. But Ben and Kylie are so understanding. Like, everything that I've just said that I give to my team, they give to me, right? So if I tell them, oh, I'm doing a little workshop for Sense of Self up in Collingwood, and they're like, that's amazing. Do you need a day off? It's incredible. They're so supportive because I do the job as well as I possibly can at Attica. They can trust me. Trust is such an important thing in that regard. Plus, it helps that we get 3 days off a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've certainly enlightened me, Claire, and given me a lot to think about personally.
Good.
And we can't wait to have you in Sydney for our teams workshop because we'd love to have you there, pick your brain even more. I'm sure, Ben here in the corner and everyone else outside just racking their brain going, oh, I wish we can ask her 100 questions. So
I'm happy to come.
So we're going to get you down there and we'd love that. We'd love
Sounds
that, definitely.
fun.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
Thank you for
Claire.
having me in your VIP bus.
Oh, you're always welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.